What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 10 of the Gianni Peccati career mode, or I think it's 10, it might be 9. Anyway, Gianni Peccati career mode, coming off of that nice win over Colby Covington, who was, at least in real life, obviously, is a top contender. I think he's ranked number 9 in the world for some reason in the game, which is just completely crazy, but I guess it's been at least a few years in game, so maybe he's had a drop-off, I don't know. Maybe having his jaw smashed just cost him a little bit in the long run, I don't know. All I know is Johnny beat him, and I believe it should be time for a title shot. There you go, it's against Jorge Masvidal, which realistically is like as good as it can get in terms of matchups for Johnny for the title, considering he already has 2 wins over Masvidal, 2 brutal knockouts over Masvidal, so it doesn't really get much more favorable than that in terms of matchups for a title fight. I mean, not just in terms of what he's done already to knocking him out, but it's not just a skill advantage, it's also a mental advantage, because obviously that would weigh down on pretty much anybody, let alone a guy like Masvidal who, like, with all due respect, he tends to lose the big one. I've already mentioned that before. He tends to lose the biggest fights possible. Obviously, beating Nate Diaz, like, with all due respect to Nate Diaz as well, isn't exactly a top 5 welterweight. He's not even, you could argue he's not even a top 10 lightweight, to be fair. So I mean, let's just be honest, right? That's not that big of a win for a welterweight. So yeah, okay, I guess, but he's the champion, so Gianni Peccati has to get through him to have that belt, and then from there on it does not get any easier. But of course, I would expect, I don't know if it's going to be like another early knockout, but I do believe we will see a very similar thing. Masvidal defensively being piss poor, and Gianni Peccati going straight at him and knocking him unconscious. I'm hoping it'll be in the first round, but it could be in the second one. To be quite honest, I played this so long ago, I have no idea. Honestly, no fucking idea. But, yeah. Alright, Gianni Peccati, Jorge Masvidal, touch the glove, so the respect is there. And it's time for Johnny to see if he can actually do something on the biggest stage possible, or will he choke and lose to a man he's already beaten twice, which would just be worst case scenario realistically, because there's essentially no reason why he should lose this fight. Masvidal goes to touch the gloves. Johnny's not having it. Throws an overhand and he gets caught to the body. So that's karma coming straight at him. Masvidal, like I said, defensively was very, very bad in the first couple of fights. See if he can improve on that. His movement has definitely been better already to start off this fight. Getting tagged up though, so it looks like his boxing defense is still piss poor. Gets caught by a nice front leg head kick, and then he goes in for the UTG kick. Does Gianni Peccati? It just doesn't land. Masvidal's defense still looks shit. The combos, I think, are going to be definitely an advantage for Johnny, because I don't know, one thing I've noticed that the AI in this particular game, like in the previous ones, they were a bit better at it, but it seems like in this game, if you just go with boxing combos, just 1-2s, they essentially have no chance of surviving. Like in the last game, they were much better at defending that, but in this one, it's I don't know. It just seems like they eat that for days. Yes, their chins are obviously monstrous for the most part, but you can definitely get around that. As Masvidal actually gets a takedown, but Johnny gets straight back up. Masvidal was unable to do anything with that, so I personally wouldn't really score that with any kind of relevance to the final score if it comes to being a close round. As Johnny gets some evolution points, also improves his leg kick, which is good. Masvidal in the clinch is trying to land some knees. None of it really does anything. Johnny lands a body kick, which does absolutely nothing. Then he goes to the body. One thing that Johnny really does need to do is, because this is a 5-round fight, and it's his first 5-round fight, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe against Colby Covington. I think that was maybe a main event too, but this is either his first or second 5-round fight, and it's really important that going to the body is something that he has emphasis on, because Masvidal is going to have better cardio. That's just there's no doubt about that, because Johnny's cardio star-wise is shit. Out of 5 stars, I think it's like 2 or 3. So definitely it's really low, and needs to go to the body to make sure that Masvidal is losing energy by being essentially whacked. Like there's no better way to put it. I mean, like, beat his ass and get him tired at the same time. So that's the best thing to do, because you see Masvidal is trying to do the same thing. Notice that Johnny's biggest weakness is his cardio, and he keeps on going to it with kicks and hooks. That's a nice body kick right there, spinning body kick to Masvidal. And obviously Johnny doesn't want to go spin too much, because at that point you're using more energy than you're taking away from your opponent. So has to be intelligent. But the biggest issue is, like, you know, everything you do in this game drains your energy so much. Like, it really is bizarre. All you can really do and not lose too much energy is just throw 1-2s. That's the only thing you can do, and you know, and hopefully not lose a ton of energy. So it's difficult. It is definitely difficult. I will say, round 1, I think personally was 100% in favor of Gianni Peccati. Obviously, he landed the biggest shot. He landed more shots, and he was putting on the pressure on Masvidal. The only thing that Masvidal really did that was you know, of any kind of note was getting Gianni Peccati to the ground for a split second, which shouldn't really count too much, I would say. So definitely a favorable round for Gianni Peccati. Obviously, it's hard to know what the judges are going to score, even in a video game, but it definitely has to be in favor of Gianni, in my opinion. Touch the gloves for the round 2, so both men do have respect for each other. Masvidal has earned the respect of Gianni, who in the first round refused to touch the gloves. But now it's all about getting this finish. Gianni needs to get this fight out of the way as soon as possible, because the longer it goes on, the more likely it is his cardio is going to go to shit, and that's going to allow Masvidal, who's been very smart and conservative so far in this fight, it's going to allow him to get back in it and really start dominating. That's a beautiful overhand from Masvidal. The hook is there too, really starting to find his timing, intelligently moving his head, but he gets caught by the overhand. Gianni goes in with a beautiful knee, sends him packing, is going in for the kill. He's trying to get the kill on the ground, trying to finish him with ground and pound. I mean, Masvidal does a good job of surviving and pushes him off. And it looks like he's going to live to fight for another minute at least. And Gianni needs to go in, but he can't go 2 balls to the wall because, you know, losing his cardio would be devastating. Actually, lands a beautiful UTG kick, but Masvidal gets straight back up. And Gianni is putting the pressure on him. At this point, Masvidal just has to try to survive. That's basically all he can do for this round. As he's still trying, though, man. He's actually landing more now than he was before. And he's going to get a slam. Sends Gianni Peccati on his head. Luckily, Masvidal used almost all of his energy to do that slam. And Gianni Peccati right now is in a favorable situation because he's winning the round. He's done pretty much all the damage. And all he has to do is make sure that Masvidal doesn't transition into a very dominant position. And just has to hold him there. This is not where you want to be. This position is devastating in these games. This is even worse. I mean, crucifix is terrible because you can just spam elbows. Side saddle isn't terrible, so you can kind of just sit here and block punches, not really have to worry too much. But at this point, my strategy on the ground is just wait for the opponent to make a move, stop it with the transition block, and then you know use that to transition into a more favorable position. Because realistically, like, they're not going to submit you, and I would say that it's not that likely that your opponent's gonna finish you with ground and pound unless you are rocked. So it really is just a matter of having patience. As you saw right there, just having patience and waiting for the right moment to try to explode and try to get out of a bad position. Going in for the kill with the ground and pound, landing some nice shots. Masvidal's blocking most of them, and he is able to grab onto Gianni Peccati, who has almost half of his bar gone at this point, and we are still in the second round. And it needs to be noted that he's lost that much stamina in a fight that he's so far completely and utterly dominated. So that does not bode well for the future of this fight. Gianni really does need to be more intelligent with his stamina. Luckily, Masvidal has lost a lot of stamina himself. A lot of those transitions blocked by Gianni Peccati are starting to take a toll, but Gianni gets rocked to end the round, gets caught by a stiff jab, which sends him to the ground. So that's actually a big moment right there, because it could be a momentum builder for Masvidal. I hope not, but it could be something that kind of swings the fight in his favor. And Gianni needs to be careful because realistically, with a guy like Masvidal who has that power, who is a crafty veteran, really all it takes is one mistake, and you're waking up on you're waking up with Herb Dean standing over you, whoever the ref is, basically keeping you safe at that point. Because I mean, anything's possible, especially with a guy like Masvidal who doesn't really take prisoners. He is one of those guys who he has a mean streak to him, and he will land those extra punches, even though maybe they're not really necessary, or as he would say, they're hashtag super necessary. But yeah, you don't wanna be in that situation. So Gianni has to watch out, and he has to be intelligent in this third round. Because Masvidal is a counter striker, so he has that in him to just kind of stand there, see what you're gonna do, move his head around, and then catch you with nice counter strikes. I mean, just look at his movement right there. Gianni even went in for a takedown, and Masvidal was already in a completely different area of the octagon. So have to be very careful with wasting stamina right here. We can't really afford to do that. Right now they're just kind of standing in the middle of the cage and banging. Pause. Nice leg kick right there, which hurts him. Have to start going to the head now because that's gonna, you know, he's gonna be worried about the leg. And you can go to the head. Head kick is there. The finish could be right here. Masvidal survives. However, Gianni is in full mount, looking for the kill, landing just beautiful shots. Unfortunately, the cage is in the way, so a lot of those shots did land on the shoulder, which is very, very annoying. But Gianni is looking just very dominant. I mean, to be fair to Masvidal, unlike the previous fights, he has survived a lot, and he's been doing really well in terms of just keeping himself in this fight. And once again, he survives the brutal ground and pound from Gianni Peccati. But I mean, much like the previous two, it has been all Gianni. Masvidal, except for apart from that very stiff jab that landed very nicely, he's essentially done nothing. And Gianni is once again pouring it on him, just not able to finish him. I mean, Masvidal has the heart of a fucking lion, and he is surviving here. Surviving. If he can take this to the 4th round and just survive, man, then like Gianni might not have enough stamina to really do much of anything left. Especially if George, what the fuck? If Jorge, there you go, exactly. That's what I was thinking. If he can transition and get himself into a favorable position and just make Gianni work, then he can really do something there. This isn't what I would say is ideal for him, because obviously he's not going to get the submission. There's just no way in hell. Desperation, I guess, sinks in. And, I mean, fair play. He's trying whatever he can, but the way the mechanics work in this game, there's really no fear of any submission, not even from Damian Maia, let alone Jorge Masvidal. So, really no fear whatsoever, and that was a big mistake by him, because, like, realistically, what he should have done is just make sure that he stays in a good position, holds Gianni Peccati every time he tries to transition, block the transition, make him work, and drain his stamina. He didn't do that, and now Gianni is once again looking for the finish with the ground and pound. He just doesn't really have the stamina to go in without really rocking him and then trying to get the finish like that. It's just like with spamming ground and pound isn't really working right now. It's just getting him tired. I mean, here he goes again. He lands a barrage of punches, but Masvidal is able to survive. And realistically, Gianni's just getting tired. I mean, yes, every time he lands, it hurts him, but it's not that close to the finish. That was a weird but yeah, it happened. Really intelligent there from Gianni, I would say, going to the body with the ground and pound too, to make sure that he keeps Masvidal's guard, you know, make sure he's worried not just for the head but also for the body, as well as taking away some of that stamina, which is at this point vital. That was just a beautiful placed head kick. Masvidal had no chance of blocking that one. Looked like he was definitely blocking to the body, but it went to the head and it rocked his ass badly. So, like, realistically, man, Gianni is a few big punches away from being the UFC welterweight champion. And obviously, that's a very prestigious crown, because welterweight alongside lightweight, in my opinion, and maybe you could argue slightly featherweight, those are the toughest divisions in the sport. So Gianni would be the champion of, I would say, it's either 1A or 1B, most prestigious division in mixed martial arts. So that's a huge, huge feather in his cap. Obviously, Masvidal is just, at this point, he's just a walking punching bag. Like, everything Gianni does hurts him really badly, and he's just taking more and more brain damage. Like, this should not be continuing. But at the same time, he's a guy who has a lot of power, so he could knock you out at any time. Oh my god. That was brutal as hell. That has to be over. Herb Dean has seen enough. He stops the fight with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left of the 4th round, and there it is. Gianni Peccati is officially the UFC welterweight champion with just a sensational performance from start to finish. Really was never in danger of being finished. I mean, that one jab hurt him, but like, I think no matter what, he would have survived that. So Gianni Peccati, just overall a sensational performance to win the title. Masvidal, all credit to him. He did put up a much better fight than he did in the previous 2 fights against Gianni. So you could argue, man, it was like a terrible matchup for him, and he did improve. So he showed a lot of heart, and he did show that he is a champion. But there was no way in hell he was winning this fight, especially not the first 2. So Gianni just had too many advantages, both in skill and in style, as well as a mental advantage. So Masvidal just really had no chance of winning this fight. I mean, like I said, to be fair, he showed a lot of heart, but he was never really in this fight from the very beginning. And there it is. Dana White puts the title around Gianni Peccati's waist. That's a very dangerous place to be, Mr. White. I would avoid that at all costs. Maybe next time have it be done by Joe Silva. Joe Silva's, yeah, he's still there. No, or is he? He's not there anymore. I don't know. Anyway, have it put on by somebody else because you do not want to be around that GP-ness, if you know what I'm talking about. So you might want to avoid that. As, of course, Gianni Peccati celebrates his first title win, which is huge because now he is very much on his way to reaching potential GOAT status. See what the contract is like. 270 for show, 270 for win. So you're looking at 540,000 You're looking at maybe 600 if you win and get a beautiful finish. So it's not the best. It's not the best. That's for damn sure. It's not that much money, but for a newly crowned champion, I guess it's not the worst. It's not the worst you could get. So, I mean, fair play, fair play. I don't know exactly what goes into the game deciding how much you make and all that stuff, but I would have hoped for more. But at the same time, it isn't that bad. Obviously, you get a 270 main event bonus, etc. So that's always good. Looking at the contract bonuses, there's really not that many that are that interesting. Fighting one main event, which is very easy but doesn't really pay off for that much. You know, I like to go with moderate because I feel like that's realistically that's the one that's gonna that's the set that's gonna give you the best you know, odds of completing it as well as rewards. But we're gonna go ahead and try the sell the fight promotion. So we'll see if we can do that. That's not gonna be easy at all, but if we do, then it gives us plus 25% popularity as well as a $500,000 bonus. So that's I think that's worth taking the risk. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can achieve that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments section down below what you think of Gianni Peccati, the new welterweight champion, and of course of Masvidal's effort of defending his title, which ultimately led him to getting severe brain trauma, and hopefully for him never having to ever encounter Gianni Peccati again for the rest of his life. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.